How you doing? Clayton Teeney from the First Home Buyer Club. 100 lessons in 100 days. Day 11, lesson 11. Why did I start this business and what did I learn today? So, firstly, I want to talk about why I started the business and the journey that's come for me from early when I was a little kid through to this point now. So, as a child, I experienced both sides when I was young. My parents owned property at a period when I was really young, I think around 6 or 7, and then they sold it to start other ventures. And after that, I then moved from house to house while they were renting. And to say that it had an effect or didn't have an effect is like there's truth to both of it, right? So five different schools in 7 years, and I'll be honest that as a kid, and especially now reflecting back, I probably wonder why there was a period there where I didn't really enjoy changing schools and making new friends and going through all the hassles that you have when you're a little kid trying to discover who you are and in a different surrounding every year. And for me, that's probably something that has always stuck out, is the fact that, and one thing I really focus on is that I don't want my family having to change schools and move around constantly as we grow up. I want them to establish one base for their school life. So my parents bought property young, they sold it. In the same token, I bought property young. So I bought my first home at 20. I joined the army when I was 17 and was deployed overseas at 19. And I came back and I ticked 2 bucket lists straight away. I bought my first home. And then the second thing I did is bought a VT Commodore. Now, it was secondhand, it wasn't brand new, but it was only 12 months old. Now, for me back in 2001, the VK and the VL, they were real cool cars. So I'd sort of hit a major, big tick when I purchased that home. And I purchased that car because it was things that for me at that time it was sort of out of my realm. And I purchased back in Perth, so I had a really great an amazing opportunity that I bought just before property boomed in Perth. And I was like, man, this is what property is all about. But as a result of owning property throughout my life, I've been very fortunate. And even now, as a result, when I created my business 6 years ago, I was in a position where I didn't have to stress about a lot of the costs because I had a home that I nearly owned outright. So, it was one of those things that sometimes I try and tell myself, I was lucky, but I had to make that step. And it's probably lucky that my mum was real strict on me when I was young and didn't allow me to go on that holiday or buy that HSV Commodore or have the best surround sound on the army base. But as a result, I, benefited extremely well for it. And, I'll be honest that I wouldn't be the person I am today if I hadn't joined the army and hadn't bought property. So it's been something I reflect on and really enjoy now. For me, obviously, there's different types of property, and you always need to make sure you buy the right one and that you buy something that's within your budget, because you don't want to buy outside of the budget. And today I was reflecting a lot about my first couple that I helped, Dean and Corretta, and their experiences, because they were in their 40s at that point when they purchased their first home. And they said to me, and I've always listened to that, and the few couples afterwards, they said to me, we always thought if you want to own your own home, you need to have this really big deposit. And even if you do have the really big deposit, then the next thing you're going to have to worry about is owning a home's really expensive. And that's what's always stopped us. And when they saw the ad that we put up in regards to this, because back in 2014, I had a builder that contacted me and said, look, would you be interested in offering this to one of your clients? What I did was just break down the numbers and thought, okay, if someone was to own this home, how much would it actually cost them? We worked with a finance broker and we worked out and go, okay, based off these numbers, it should cost them approximately, $447 per week. Now, it's a 1 acre block, a big 280 square meter home. And what Dean and Corretta found was that it was only like another $20 a week more than where they were living in Forest Lake. but to own their own home, pay it off. And they're like, look, we've always put ourselves in a position we kept renting and kept telling ourselves it wasn't going to work because we always thought it was expensive. And so I was like, okay, maybe that's a one-off. And then the next client, it was the same feedback and the same responses. And I thought to myself, obviously there's not enough information out there for first home buyers, and that's how I created the business. And obviously there was a few little steps that went along the way, but that was those steps to make me think, okay, this is really what we need to focus on. And, as a result with both of them, they've both made, significant money on their property, but more importantly, they've paid something off that was within their budget. And what we always focus here on is don't just buy property, but buy a property that, one, is within your budget, but two, that you can pay off faster. Because if you can beat the banks at their own game and reduce the amount of interest you got to give them, you can make money on both sides, right? And the lesson for today, and I look back to this morning. So if you notice the background, it's not the office this morning. I've been coming in at 6:45, 7 o'clock into the office every morning because I didn't have the right lighting. Well, this lighting only took me like 3-4 days to order it. And I've been putting it off for weeks because I'm like, COVID's here and, it's going to take a long time to post and it's probably going to be expensive. And for probably a period over a week or two, I've been putting it off, going, making up excuses why. And as soon as I ordered, I couldn't believe how quickly it come. And it saves me probably about an hour of having to get up. I was getting up just a little bit after 4 o'clock every morning before. Now I can have a little bit of a sleep in. I still go to the gym and exercise before I start work, but it's given me that extra time. And I thought to myself, I'm like, man, this is a really good lesson, because how many times do we put things off in life because we don't quite know the answer? So instead of finding out, we just make up a story or tell ourselves something in our heads, and then we go with that, right? So look at the things that you're putting off in life. If it's, that dental trip, or, planning for that wedding, or that holiday when we're ever able to be out of COVID. Although, there's some amazing places inside of Queensland that you can still go for a long weekend, and we've got a long weekend coming up too. But do those things that you're telling yourself can't happen just for the sake of it, and see. Like, at the end of the day, you explore it and realize that it's not worth it, or it's not the right time. That's perfect, but at least create that plan and help yourself get there. All right, guys, I'm going to end it for there. Happy Thursday. Enjoy your day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.